Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're exploring the INFP personality type. The healers and idealists. You sent over some fascinating info on INFPs, and we're excited to, well, share the most interesting parts with you.
Sounds like fun. INFPs are a fascinating bunch.
For sure. Should we start with these two portraits? The healer by Kiersey and the idealist.
Let's do it.
Okay, so something that jumps out at me right away is how Kiersey says healers have this, huge capacity for caring.
Right.
But they often struggled as kids because the world doesn't exactly line up with their idealism.
Yeah.
It's like they see things through a more compassionate lens.
That actually ties into their dominant function, which is introverted feeling. So basically they have this strong inner compass guiding their decisions, and it's all about, their personal values and empathy for others.
Okay, so that explains why they're often called the idealist then, right? Always searching for meaning and purpose, trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, and this drive can lead them down some pretty incredible paths. Like, did you know Princess Diana was believed to be an INFP?
Really?
Mm-hmm. George Orwell, too. Even Albert Schweitzer.
Wow, that's a pretty diverse group. I never would have guessed they had that in common.
Right.
Really shows that INFPs can leave their mark on the world in so many different ways.
For sure. And speaking of which, maybe we should talk about some of the strengths that help them do that.
Okay, I'm listening.
As someone who, values knowledge and making a difference, I think you'll find this interesting.
Okay.
Well, first of all, that strong value system we were just talking about,
Yeah.
that translates to real-world action.
Interesting.
They gravitate toward careers that match their values, which, of course, makes them super dedicated and passionate.
So it's not just lofty ideals.
Right.
They actually put those ideals into practice.
Exactly. And they're also great at articulating their vision. Well, they have a real strength in written communication, which helps them inspire others. Makes sense that a lot of famous writers are INFPs, given their ability to connect with emotions.
Yeah, they put their whole heart into everything they do, and it shows, especially in their writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet that same depth of feeling extends to their personal relationships, too.
Oh, absolutely. They're known for their capacity for love and loyalty.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But we've talked a lot about their strengths. What about the maybe areas where they struggle or need to grow?
Yeah, of course. Like any personality type, they have areas to develop. The document you sent actually frames these as opportunities for growth, which I like.
Yeah, that's a nice way to think about it.
One thing that often comes up is their dislike of conflict and criticism.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be a challenge, especially in a professional setting where feedback is so important.
Yeah. It's all about learning to detach and take criticism objectively.
Easier said than done.
Right. But instead of seeing it as a personal attack, they can focus on the content of the feedback, what they can learn from it. It takes practice, but it's a valuable skill.
Absolutely.
Oh, and speaking of growth, the information you sent also mentioned that INFPs can be pretty hard on themselves.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They hold themselves to such high standards.
Exactly. And they sometimes struggle to, give themselves credit.
Right.
The document had a simple tip, actually. Practice self-praise. Might sound cheesy, but consciously acknowledging their accomplishments, even small ones, can really help.
Yeah, it's like giving yourself permission to celebrate the wins.
Right.
Okay, before we move on, there's something that really intrigued me. It says here that INFPs are often drawn to their opposites.
Of opposites.
Yeah, like when it comes to extroversion and introversion, or judging and perceiving.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of surprising, right?
It is at first, but when you think about it, it makes sense.
Okay, how so?
Well, they're drawn to partners who bring out different aspects of themselves, offer a different perspective, challenge them.
So it's about finding balance
Exactly.
and completion through those relationships.
Right. And while their idealism might lead them to maybe romanticize their partners a bit,
Yeah.
that same idealism fuels their incredible capacity for love and loyalty.
It sounds like they bring so much to the table in a relationship.
They do.
But how does that dislike of conflict we talked about play out in a romantic relationship?
Oh, that's a good question.
Could it cause problems, especially if they're with someone who's more direct, less sensitive to, emotional nuances?
It's something to be mindful of, for sure. The key is for both partners to learn how to manage conflict, constructively.
Right.
INFPs can work on communicating their feelings clearly and directly, while their partners can learn to be more mindful of their sensitivity.
It sounds like open communication and understanding are so key.
They really are, for any relationship, but especially when an INFP is involved.
Okay. We've covered a lot of ground. The healer and idealist portraits, those surprising famous INFPs, strengths and weaknesses, and even a bit about their romantic side.
It's been a good overview.
But there's so much more to uncover. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Next, we'll dive into the fascinating world of personal growth for INFPs, and we'll even get into some actionable tips for them to, reach their full potential. It's really interesting how this document connects personal growth for INFPs back to Jung's idea of individuation.
Individuation. That sounds kind of intimidating.
Yeah, it's a big word,
Yeah.
but it basically means becoming a more whole, integrated version of yourself.
Okay.
For INFPs, this means finding that balance between their dominant function, introverted feeling, and their auxiliary function, extroverted intuition.
So instead of suppressing their natural empathy and values, it's more about adding another layer to their perspective?
Yeah, exactly. Think of introverted feeling as their inner compass, guiding them based on their values and empathy.
Okay.
And then extroverted intuition is kind of like their radar.
Radar.
Yeah, scanning the world for possibilities, patterns.
Oh, I like that.
So developing extroverted intuition helps them to see the bigger picture, gather information, and maybe even anticipate challenges or opportunities.
So it helps them step outside their own internal world
Exactly.
and see things more objectively.
Which can be really helpful in those conflict situations we talked about earlier.
Oh, right. Makes them more effective.
Exactly.
So how does an INFP actually start to develop this extroverted intuition? Are there any steps they can take?
That's a great question. The document actually has a section called 10 Rules to Live By for, achieving success.
10 rules to live by. Okay.
And several of them really speak to this.
Okay, give me the highlights.
Okay, well, one that stands out is feed your strengths. It encourages INFPs to really nurture their talents and passions, whether it's writing, music, art, anything.
Yeah.
Engaging in creative pursuits helps them connect with their intuition and develop that, radar we were talking about.
I love that because it's not just about fixing your weaknesses, it's about celebrating your strengths, too.
Exactly.
What else?
Another one is express your feelings.
Okay.
INFPs can be so internalized that they sometimes bottle things up.
Yeah.
So learning to express those feelings, constructively,
Right.
whether through writing, talking to someone, or even art, is so crucial for their well-being.
It's so true. Bottling things up never helps.
No, it doesn't.
Now, we talked earlier about how INFPs can be prone to, romanticizing partners.
Yeah.
And struggling with conflict. Do any of the rules address that specifically?
There is one, actually. It's
Yeah.
called Be Gentle in Your Expectations.
Okay.
It basically cautions INFPs against putting those unrealistic expectations on their partner.
Because everyone's on their own journey, right?
Yeah, right. And expecting someone to perfectly fulfill that, idealized vision can just lead to disappointment.
Yeah. Conflict, too.
Exactly.
So acceptance is key.
There's also one that says assume the best.
Okay.
INFPs, with all their empathy, can sometimes assume the worst, especially when it comes to criticism.
Yeah, I can see that.
So this rule encourages them to adopt a more positive outlook.
Okay.
Remember that most people aren't, intentionally trying to hurt them.
Like choosing to see the world through a compassionate lens.
Yeah, exactly. Even when it's hard.
It's powerful. And then finally, what about for those times when, you're feeling doubtful or uncertain?
There's a really simple one for that. When in doubt, ask questions.
I like that. Simple but important.
It encourages open communication and helps to clarify things.
To make misunderstandings. Avoid unnecessary conflict.
Exactly.
So it seems like the journey of personal growth for an INFP is all about finding balance, right? Embracing those strengths, learning to navigate the world with a more open mind and heart.
It is. It's about becoming that more whole, integrated version of themselves, capable of both deep empathy and an objective understanding.
Beautiful. And, the document even suggests that a well-developed INFP can be a powerful force for social change.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
That's a pretty incredible thought. What makes them so good at creating positive change?
Well, we talked about their strong values, right?
Yeah.
Their dedication to causes they believe in, their ability to communicate their vision.
Powerful writers.
But there's more to it.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about some of those famous INFPs we mentioned earlier. Princess Diana, known for her humanitarian work.
Okay.
George Orwell challenging norms through his writing, Albert Schweitzer dedicating his life to service.
They all had such a profound impact, but they did it in such different ways, too.
Exactly. And that really speaks to the diversity of INFPs and how they can affect change in so many different ways.
So it's not just about grand gestures.
Right.
It can also be about those small, everyday acts,
Exactly.
the kindness, the compassion.
Right. And remember, their empathy allows them to connect with others on such a deep level, understand their struggles, offer support. They're incredible at building bridges.
It sounds like they have a real gift for bringing people together, inspiring them,
They do.
working toward a common goal.
And their idealism, which, is sometimes seen as a weakness, is actually one of their greatest strengths when it comes to creating change.
It's that unwavering belief, right? That refusal to settle, that desire to make things better.
Exactly. And their creativity allows them to express that vision in unique ways.
Through their art, music, writing, even their everyday actions.
Right. It's like they see the world through a different lens.
A lens that allows them to envision things that others might miss.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
So it's that unique perspective combined with their empathy, idealism, and creativity that makes them such powerful agents of change.
It really is. This has been quite a journey.
It really has.
We've delved deep into the INFP personality.
Their inner workings, their strengths, the challenges they face.
And wow, their potential for growth and making a real impact.
It's like we've uncovered the essence of what makes them, well, them.
And it all comes back to something the document highlights.
What's that?
The idea that an INFP, when they're truly developed, can become a powerful force for social change.
You know, that really resonated with me.
It's a powerful statement.
Especially when you consider their empathy, their idealism, and that incredible creativity.
It makes you think, right?
Absolutely.
Their empathy lets them connect so deeply with others, understand their struggles.
It fuels that drive to make things better, to heal.
And their idealism, it gives them that unshakable belief in a better world.
They're not content with just accepting things as they are.
They see potential possibility where others might not.
But it's not always about grand, sweeping changes either.
No, not at all.
It's the smaller acts of kindness and compassion, too.
Those everyday things that have a ripple effect.
Like an INFP who writes a poem that touches people's hearts.
Or volunteers their time to a cause close to them.
Or maybe just lends an ear to someone who needs it.
Right. Those seemingly small actions.
Driven by that core of empathy and idealism.
They can inspire others to do the same.
And then there's the creativity.
Oh, absolutely.
That incredible ability to express their vision.
Whether it's through art, music, writing, or just their way of being.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of the INFP,
I know it's gone by so fast.
I want to leave you with a question, something to think about.
Okay, I'm ready.
What positive impact do you feel drawn to make on the world?
What a great question.
What are you passionate about? What breaks your heart? What change do you dream of?
Don't be afraid to dream big, but also remember,
What's that?
even the smallest act of kindness can create a ripple.
This deep dive has been a glimpse into the amazing potential of the INFP.
They truly are remarkable.
We hope you found it as insightful and inspiring as we have.
And remember, the journey of self-discovery and growth is ongoing.
Keep exploring, keep learning, keep evolving.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the INFP personality.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep diving deep into the world around you and, most importantly, into yourself.